Rise and grind, the last cigar that I'll ever buy. Let's have this conversation. And so on this video today, we're talking about the last cigar that I will ever buy. Without further ado, if I could only buy one cigar for the rest of my life, if I was on a desert island and I could only have one cigar, if there was only one cigar allowed per person, one type of cigar, for me that would be the Don Carlos. And so on tonight, I'm gonna be enjoying me a Don Carlos. This to me, this is my desert island cigar. This is if I could just pick one. And so we'll have some conversations talking about the cigar, talking about why I selected this cigar. And you know, in our fashion, we're gonna just have some conversation. What if you're on a desert island all by yourself? And so we're gonna have some conversation. This cigar to me is just absolutely perfect. Put out by Arturo Fuente. This cigar it's been out for a long time. This is put out by Arturo Fuente, and so you know that this is excellent. You know it's gonna be flawless. You know the tobacco is well aged. You know the construction is gonna be perfect. Draw is gonna be perfect. This cigar is just perfection for me. It's got the right amount of strength, the right amount of flavor. This African Cameroon wrapper. And so this is a tasty wrapper. It's got this semi-sweet note to it. Some call it sunflower seeds. I always keep referring back to tamarind, which is a candy. It's not a candy, it's a fruit, but it tastes like a candy. I grew up eating this straight off the tree. I call it a candy because now they've made so many candies out of it. They've got drinks they've made out of it. They've got sauces. And so the tamarind. And so it's this sweet, yet slightly, there's a nice salt on there. There's also, you can, it's like this mixture of maybe some nutmeg, maybe some paprika. And so it's got just a beautiful taste to it. This to me is just cigar perfection. This cigar, it comes in a number of vitolas. And so you've got the eye of the bull. And so that's a short little, about a 3-inch, about a 55 ring gauge. And so that cigar packs a punch. And so if you got about 45 minutes and you want to smoke a great cigar, I go with the eye of the bull. Usually I go with the number 4s. And so the number 4 is a 5-inch, 43 ring gauge. And so for me, for the longest time, that was my second cigar. And so if I'm out somewhere and I'm having a good time and I want to keep the party going, at the end of the night, I'll always reach for the Don Carlos, the number 4. And so it's a shorter, but is packed with some flavor. And so the number 4, a lot of people sleep on the number 4. Everybody usually reaches for the number 2. And so this is what gets all the fame. This is what gets all the acclaim. The number 2, it's gonna smoke for a good time. It's gonna burn great. You're gonna get you a good hour and a half out of this. The number 2, when I really wanna pour a nice drink, have a good time, this is what I'm reaching for. But on tonight, what am I drinking? I got me some ginger beer. Why? Because that's what I grew up drinking. I grew up eating tamarind, drinking ginger, eating ginger. And so that just became my profile, my palate. It became who I am. So when I grew up on that island, we had tamarind and ginger. And so on a night like tonight, as I remember me, who I was, when it was just me alone on an island, I had some tamarind and some ginger. So what I like about this cigar, if I could only have one cigar, I'm stranded on a desert island, I can only have one cigar, I'm going to go with this. Because this cigar, it's smooth enough for you to smoke all the time, but it's got enough flavor to keep you always interested. And so it comes in at about a medium strength, and so that's always good. It could be a breakfast cigar, it could be a cigar to have with a high proof bourbon, It could be an end of night cigar. It can be whatever you want it to be. You can smoke this as a small size. You can smoke this in the Presidente size. You can smoke this as a Figurado, as a Shark. It doesn't matter what size you put this in. This is just a great cigar. Good for any time of the day, good for any occasion. And it comes in at an affordable price, so you can smoke it at all times and not even think about it. So again, I used to always have a box of the number 4. They came in at a great price, especially letting them age for a little while. You can smoke it breakfast, dessert, any time of the day. And it didn't break your wallet in acquiring these. With this cigar, even though on the palate it is just so delicious, on the retro hill, you get this pleasant, so that's when the bacon spices really start to come in. All of that nutmeg, that paprika, that white pepper, that salt. This cigar is just utter, complete perfection. Now, the reason why I call this my desert island cigar, if I'm deserted on a desert island, I'm gonna reach for this cigar. Why? Because this cigar is gonna do for me, it's a utility cigar. It can be a celebration cigar. It can be an everyday cigar. This cigar is whatever you need it to be, whatever you need it to be. But as we have this conversation, you know I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. What happens if it's just you on an island? See, I grew up on an island, so I know what it's like to be by yourself. I know what it's like to be on an island. And I think a lot of people nowadays don't understand that. They don't know what it's like to have to just do it by yourself. They don't know what it's like to have to go at it alone. You see, everyone's always looking for the group think, the mob mentality. But a guy like me who grew up literally on an island, I know what it's like when you gotta think by yourself and think for yourself. I know what it's like when you gotta move out by yourself. You see, sometimes you gotta think like I'm on this island by myself, and I've gotta make the moves. I gotta gather up the resources. I gotta put in the work. I gotta make the shelter. You see, they say no man is an island, but if you really wanna make it in life, you gotta figure out, how do you do for you? How do you get there by yourself? How do you rise and grind and do what you gotta do to take care of you? And so no man is an island, but you better have that island mindset. You better have that island mentality. You better have that mentality that says, I'm not waiting for anybody. I'm gonna do the work. I'm gonna get this thing done. What I love about this cigar is that, as I mentioned, those notes, that tamarind, the paprika, the nutmeg, the salt, those are all notes that I am familiar with. That's what I cook with. That's what my mom cooked with. That's what my grandma cooked with. This cigar is simply me. I think sometimes in life, you got to get back to knowing who you are. The only way you're going to make it on that island by yourself is you got to dig and look within yourself. Understand who you are. Understand what your palate is. You see, I don't care what everyone else is saying. I don't care for what everyone else is doing. You got to understand, who are you? One of the things about being on a small island is you get to spend a lot of time internalizing. You spend a lot of time thinking through your thoughts. What do I like? What do I enjoy? Who am I? What do I have inside of me? You see, a cigar like this is me. That's why if I'm on an island by myself, I'm reaching for something like this, because it's got the right taste for me. I know the construction is gonna be perfect. I know that the draw is gonna be perfect. I know that regardless of what vitolas I get this in, I know that's gonna be right. I know the quality of this thing. You see, when you find yourself by yourself, that's when you gotta do the internal work. That's when you gotta start looking within you and saying, am I right? Do I have the right quality? Do I have the right blend? You see, this cigar, this is me. You put me on an island by myself. You put me out in the world, because that's really, in this world, you are on an island. It's you and your family, and you got to make the decisions. You got to do the work. You see, whether you are on a tropical island or whether you are just maneuvering in life, you got to be able to look within you and figure out, what do I need to do? Who am I? Thing about being on an island by yourself is you got to be yourself. One of the problems with the groupthink and the mob mentality is after a while, everybody starts to think like each other. But when you spend time with yourself, by yourself, you got to come up with your own ideas. You got to come up with your own personality. When you look at this channel, there is no other channel on the face of YouTube that is anything like this. This channel is the result of a person who looked within himself and said, what am I interested in? I'm interested in whiskey. I'm interested in cigars. I'm interested in motivating. I'm interested in telling my story through the products. You see, that only comes when you got an island mentality. That only comes when you got this mindset that says, who am I? What do I bring to the table? What do I bring to the spaces? Who am I internally, and what is going to show externally? You see, you put me on an island by myself, you better put me with a cigar like this. And what you're going to end up getting is someone who knows who he is and is going to show who he is. You see, too many of us, we don't have an island mindset. We got the big city mentality. And so we want to just go with the crowd. We want to go with the herd. It's like when you see those people being crammed into the subway and everyone's just being dropped off at one place. That's the city mentality, where everyone is just going along, working the assembly line, wearing the same thing, thinking the same thing. Everybody is saying the exact same thing. But along comes a guy like me, an island boy, who got some island taste, speaks a little different, operates a little different, because I don't go with the herd, because I'm used to being on an island all by myself. And if you put me on an island all by myself, look at that construction. You put me with a cigar like the Don Carlos. I've been loving these cigars, just buying them by the boxes, whether it's the number 2s, the number 4s, the Sharks. They're all good, all quality. And I love the pricing that they come at. If I could only choose one cigar, if you told me I could only buy one cigar for the rest of my life, it's gonna be the Arturo Fuente Don Carlos. This cigar just speaks to me, the taste, the palate. It reminds me everything about my own upbringing. This cigar speaks to me as an individual. And so I want you to put in the comment, what is a cigar? If you could only buy one cigar, if you're stranded on a deserted island, all by yourself, and you could only have one cigar, what would that be? What's a cigar that you could actually smoke every single day? What's a cigar you can smoke several times a day? That you don't mind smoking it in the morning and then again in the evening. You don't mind smoking it with some water or with some scotch. What's a cigar that just fits you? I think once we start to all figure out, what is my cigar? What is my palate? Not the palate everyone else keeps talking about, and now I gotta listen. No, what is your palate? You see, the thing about being on an island by yourself is you don't get inundated with all the noise. Even though I'm in the city now, I still operate like I'm on an island. I don't watch everything. I don't listen to everything. I don't go along with everything. I still got that island mentality. Because I think otherwise it's just way too much noise. Sometimes you listen to so much stuff, you don't even know what your palate is. You don't even know what you like anymore, because you've been listening and going with the herd so much. I think it's good for us to always pull back, get out of the city, go back to the country, go back to the island, where you could just have some time by yourself. So you could be reminded, what do I like? What's the taste that I like? Yeah, I like ginger. Yeah, I like paprika. Yeah, I like nutmeg. Yeah, I like allspice. That's what I get out of this cigar. It takes me home, takes me back to me. And so if I can only buy one cigar, it's gonna be the Don Carlos by Arturo Fuente. And so let me know your thoughts. Let me know what will be your one cigar for the rest of your life. What's your island cigar? If we've helped you with this conversation, help us back. Join these kind of conversations. Hit the subscribe button. Check us out on our lives that we do sometimes on Tuesday at 6, sometimes Friday at 6. But we come together and we have some conversations with the people. You see, we're all individuals. But yeah, we can come together, but it's not a group think. It's not a herd mob mentality. It's good men and women coming together to share their individual ideas. That's the community that we're building. And if you want to be a part of it, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button so the rest of our island-minded people can get the content, the information, the encouragement, and the community. So like, comment, subscribe, but most importantly, rise and grind.